Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another install of my CD collection. This is part 65. This is probably like the last one I do for a while. Not that I won't buy CDs anymore. It's not that. It's just I just want to focus more on reviews because I know some of you guys been wanting to do reviews and stuff like that. So, but this will be the last one I'll do for a while and stuff like. And I have some more CDs in the back, but I'm trying to get more stuff to to make another CD collection video. But I'm in no rush. But without further ado, let's start with the album. But before I start, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day here in the States. Thank you for all the hard work and dedication you put in our lives. Well, I guess some of us, because some people weren't raised with their moms and stuff like that. But anybody with that was a maternal figure in your life, Happy Mother's Day to them. Thank you, because you are the reason why we are the people we are today. So, alright. Enough of that. Without further ado, let's start with the first CD of the video. D-Don's solo debut album, Bonafide Portrait of a Hustler, released in 2000. D-Don, he's an MC from Newark, New Jersey. He's known for his affiliate. He's affiliated with Redman. He's good friends with him. He's, like I said, he's affiliated with Redman. Did some stuff with him, like in the underground, things like that. He actually came out with an album with the Governor, who was he was kind of like a reggae artist. It was called 1995 Year of the Independent, which I'm trying to get my hands on, but it's really hard to come by and it's expensive. I had the opportunity of getting it years ago on Amazon, and I bought it, but then the dude was like, "Oh, we don't have it in stock." I'm like, "What the fuck?" That shit pissed me off. You know what I mean? So, but I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate to that. That's one of my gripes. I never had that happen to me. Only one time that ever happened to me, and that would happen to be the case with this. Not with this album particularly, but with the album he did with the Governor back in 1995. So, but I'll try to get my hands on that someday. But like I said, his first solo debut album. The singles off this album are "And You Know That," "Smoke With Us," and I believe that was it. But this album I wasn't really too fond of. It was very commercial sounding. I was kind of expecting more rugged, kind of like that Redman flavor. You know what I mean? Just that sound I was kind of looking for with him. You didn't really get that with this album. Kind of had that, kind of like that late '90s. Commercial hip hop, East Coast commercial hip hop at that time that was out. I thought this song could have looked a little bit better, but yeah, this is D-Don, Bonafide Portrait of a Hustler, released in 2000. Then we got X-Clan with their second album, Xodus, released in 1992. I just want to say rest in peace to Professor X, Sugar Shaft. I know Professor X died back in 2006. He died of I guess spinal meningitis, I think it's called, and Sugar Shaft died in '95 due to complications of AIDS and stuff like that. X-Clan, Brooklyn-based group from Brooklyn. They're from Brooklyn. If you guys know them, they're about they use I believe they're Black Israelites or something like that. Don't really know too much about X-Clan. I mean, I heard some of their music and I just wasn't really too fond of it. And it's not because of the message that they have, but it's because of the production. Because they use familiar breaks and stuff like that. They don't use I don't know. I just wanted them to use. They just use loops and stuff, familiar loops, and I don't know. I wasn't really too fond of that. You know what I mean? But the singles of the album are Atom, Fire and Earth, 100% Natural, and I believe that was it. I believe those were the singles of the album. But yeah, that was my only gripe with X-Clan. They would use familiar samples and top 80, top 70s, 80s samples, and they kind of did what Bad Boy was doing back in the mid to late '90s, but they were doing that before, in a sense. So that's the thing I didn't like about X-Clan, but that's just my opinion. But glad to own this because their stuff is kind of hard to come by. I definitely need to get the Dark Sun Riders album that Brother J put up. Is a group that he put up back in '94. Forgot the name of the album. I think it's called Seeds of the Revolution. I think it was called. That came out back in '96, but that's out of print. I'll try to get my hands on that someday. But yeah, that's Xodus by X Clan, released in 1992. And around that time, they were going at KRS-One and stuff like that. So, yep. Then we got Milkbone with his second album called U Got Miilk, released in 2001. Milkbone, MC from New Jersey, Perth Amboy, New Jersey to be exact. Milkbone got his start back in the mid-90s, came out with an album called The Milk Crate, which I'm trying to get my hands on, but it's kind of pricey online, you know what I mean? I've seen it go for like $30, you know, stuff like that. I might end up getting it, you know, it depends on the price and stuff like that. I broke my cardinal rule where I would not spend more than $40 or, you know, $30 over a CD, but I've done that in the past, and sometimes you have to, because certain albums will just never get repressed, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. But if you got the passion of hip-hop and, you know, certain albums that you want, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and just buy the CD, I guess. But that's just me, though. But I have the money to do that, you know, so whatever. But yeah, You Got Miilk, like I said, he a Milkbone. Like I said, he's from Perth Amboy. He got his start like in the mid-90s. Put out his biggest single in his whole career, Keep It Real. That's the same song that you know, the infamous Big L and Jay-Z freestyle Stretch About Beetle. That beat, well, that was Milkbone's beat that they used and stuff like that. So, because a lot of people think that was their beat, but it was actually Milkbone's beat. So, just throw that out there. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys already know that. The singles of the album are Yes Yes Y'all, A Few Good Men, Dear Slim. Obviously, he's taking shots at Eminem. And I think Things You Do was a single as well. But there was four singles. But yeah, Milkbone, You Got Miilk. It's not bad. It has some decent joints. It has some questionable songs, but you know, it's decent. It's not bad. It's not as good as his first album, but it's not bad. I remember seeing this album back in the early 2000s, but I didn't know who he was. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's not bad. But I know this is out of print, so it came out of a Excalibur Entertainment, Lightyear Entertainment release. So you already know this is out of print because, you know, I'm pretty sure they're defunct and they're never to be heard again. So, but yeah, Milkbone with You Got Miilk, released in 2001. Then we got Candyman with Ain't No Shame in My Game, released in 1990. Candyman, he was an MC. He's from I believe he's from I want to say South Central Los Angeles. I know he's from LA, but I think he's from South Central. You know, he's known for his affiliation with Tone Loc. He got put on by Tone Loc. Candyman, his music is kind of like party raps in a sense. You know what I mean? In a sense, the singles off the album are Knockin' Boots. You already know what that's about. Knockin' Boots. Melt in Your Mouth. And I believe that was it. I think The Mac Is Back was a single too. But definitely Knockin' Boots and Melt in Your Mouth was a single. I know there's 3 singles of the album, but I don't remember the third one. But I know Knockin' Boots and Melt in Your Mouth was a single as well. But yeah, it's actually good. I like the production on the album. Even though it's party raps, but the production is actually pretty good. It's pretty good for 1990s production and stuff like that. But yeah, Candyman, Ain't No Shame in My Game, released in 1990. I believe this is his first album. Alright. This album right here, I'm glad to own. I'm glad I found it. And it is Dame Grease's debut album called Live on Lenox Ave. Yeah, Live on Lenox Ave, released in 2000. Dame Grease, for those who don't know, he's a producer / MC, but he's mostly a producer. He raps every once in a while, but He's from Harlem, New York. In my opinion, he's responsible for the sound of Rough Riders. I know Swiss Beats, you know, what had a big part of that, but I feel like Dame Grease, in my opinion, was responsible for that sound. In my opinion, to me, that influenced, you know, he influenced Swiss Beats. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I always feel like Swiss Beats was kind of the prodigy of Dame Grease. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion, though. Dame Grease at one point he was like an unofficial member of the Hitman at one point. And the reason why I say that is because he did work for Mace on his first album, Harlem. What's the name of this album? I think it was called Harlem World or some shit like that. Yeah, I think it was called Harlem World. Mace's first song that came out in '97, the one that had 24 Hours to Live and stuff like that, which Dame Grease produced. He did a couple stuff for Dame Grease. Then eventually he did half of you know, LOX's first album, Money, Power, and Respect, and which is why, and you know, it just so happened that both of those artists were on Bad Boy Records, and you know, Dame Grease, you know, like I said, being part of the Hitman at one point, and then eventually, you know, joining Rough Riders and things like that. Did stuff like, you know, DMX and, you know, Drag On and, you know, the rest of the crew. But definitely responsible for the sound of like early Rough Riders, in my opinion. Particularly DMX and stuff like that. But I know the single of this album, which there was a video for, is Good Morning America, with a group called Hot Ones, and Cameron's on that shit too. Love that song. The video is dope too. It's on YouTube, but it's not in good quality. But really love that song. Really captures that, you know, late '90s, you know, late '90s New York at that time. You know, cats rocking the two-tone do-rags and shit like that. You know what I mean? Definitely sound like something that could have been on Belly or some shit like that. Like that song itself. But yeah, very dope. Love the sound of this album. Like I said, if you like old Rough Riders like I do, old Swiss Beats, like that sound, then you'll definitely enjoy this album right here. This is Dame Grease live on Lenox Ave. The album released in 2000. This song was actually out of print, so if you can find it, definitely pick it up. But I've seen it online for dirt cheap, so it's not an expensive album and stuff like that. You're not gonna spend like crazy amount of money. But finally found it, so glad I found it. But yeah. Then we got Mad Cobra, where to me his breakthrough album is Hard to Wet, Easy to Dry, released in 1992. Like I said, in my opinion, this was his breakthrough album. It's the album that actually got him recognized worldwide. Obviously with the song Flex. Yeah, that song is so big even to this day. Which is like his biggest single of his whole career. He had another single called Legacy, but that didn't really do very well. But Flex, Time to Have Sex, like everybody knows that song. Even if you wasn't born in, even if you wasn't alive around that time, but if you've heard that song before, you play that song in parties today, like yo, people will go crazy over that. Like the grinding sessions, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Gyrations, that's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, man, good album. You know, I already, like I said in the past, I'm trying to get more '90s dance hall, you know, which, you know, are hard to come by. You know what I'm saying? This is long out of print, but glad to find this shit right here. Yeah, Mad Cobra, Hard to Wet, Easy to Dry, released in 1992. I believe I have another Mad Cobra album. I just don't remember which one, but yeah, glad to own this one right here. And we got UB40 with the self-titled album. UB40 released in 1988. I believe this is their 8th album. Yeah, the only single of this album is Breakfast in Bed. This album I didn't really care for too much. I didn't like the production on the album. I didn't really care for the album too much. I felt like the album could have a little bit better. It was a little bit too popish for my taste. It's an album that when you hear it, it really captures 1988, but not in a good way. it didn't really age very well. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not like their early albums like UB40. I mean, not, excuse me, like Labor of Love, Signing Off, like their first couple of albums and stuff like that. They didn't really age very well. So that was my only gripe with this album. But it's an okay album. Could have been better. That's just my opinion. But UB40 with the self-titled album, released in 1988. This is their 8th album. Then we got my favorite album from this artist, and is Dougie Fresh's Play album, released in 1995. This is his last album they ever released. I have his album from 1992, Do What You Gotta Do, I think it's called, which I wasn't really too fond of. Didn't like the production on the album. The album was the production was kind of weak in my opinion. Just didn't really have any like playable tracks. This album was like a better. It was more versatile. Had better production on this album. The singles off this album are Where's the Party? Where's the Party At? Freaks. Everybody knows that song. Freaks with Little Vicious. Hands in the Air. Featuring Beanie Man. Shout out to Beanie Man. But yeah, they got this album got some dope shit in here. To me this is his best album. But that's just my opinion. Some of my favorite songs are like It's On. What's that song? The one with fucking It's On. There's a song with that Keep It Going. Yeah, that's my shit. Keep It Going. Oh my god, that beat minus fucking killed that shit right there. But yeah, very good album. Definitely captures 1995. Like I said, this is the last time he ever put out, and no offense, but I'm glad when artists do that, like artists of this caliber, only because a lot of 80s rappers, not all of them, but when they put out albums later on in their career, like in the 2000s, a lot of times it's not really good, because a lot of times they'll try to like be relevant and try to like use beats from that era, and it just don't sound very good, man. So sometimes it's good when they only release a couple albums and they stop at a certain year. So, and this is one of the examples. So, no offense to Dougie Fresh, but I salute him. I appreciate his contribution to hip hop, but I'm glad he stopped at this album. But that's just my opinion. But Dougie Fresh will Play, released in 1995. This is out of print as well. A lot of these albums are out of print, so. Then we got A Mill with All Money Is Legal, released in 2000. At one point she was part of Rockefeller Records. This was the only album she came out with, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, this is the only album she ever came out with. She was with Rockefeller at one point. The singles off the album For the Fan, which was her biggest single off the album. Love that song. That beat is fucking crazy. That song reminds me of, it reminds me of junior high school when I was in 7th grade going to 8th grade. It reminded me at that time. And what's the other song she did? I Got That with Beyonce. Beyonce before she was Beyonce that we all know. And it just so happened that Beyonce married Jay-Z years later, so that was pretty crazy. What's crazy about this album is that it's a decent album. It's not the best album in the world. Didn't really sell very well. It wasn't that good. It had a couple of decent songs, but what I didn't know about Emil is that she's a black Israelite, and she used to go out with Killa Priest. She had a relationship with Killa Priest at one point. And the song Quarrels, which I didn't know until I heard it a couple of days ago, had, like she, was speaking about her faith. And I think that's one of the reasons why they kicked her out of the group. Not just the fact that she, excuse me, that, the album didn't sell very well, because, she was featured in the movie State Property. But she didn't do anything after that. You know what I mean? But she said she has some bad blood, and there's rumors of her. She was working at Macy's at one point. There was rumors about that. She worked at Kmart, and all that shit and things like that. But there's a picture of her floating online of her like working at Walmart or some shit like that. So it's crazy, but it's a decent album. It's not really a good album. It's okay. But yeah, I think because because she's a black Israelite, I think it's the reason why they kicked her out of the group. But that's just my opinion. But it is what it is. And All Money is Legal, released in 2000. Then I'm glad I own this album. I found this album, and it's Ahmad with a self-titled album, released in 1994. Ahmad, MC from South Central Los Angeles. This is the only album he ever came out with. Unfortunately, because this is a very good album. The singles off this album is Back in the Day and You Gotta Be. Those are the singles off the album. But yeah, it's a very good album right here. I believe he was in high school when he dropped this album. I think he was like 17 or 18 at the time. But yeah, very good album. Definitely captures 1994 in a good way. Definitely captures 1994 West Coast hip hop. Very dope. Later on in his career, he was part of a group called Fourth Avenue Jones. They put a couple albums out. They've been out since 1997, and I think they no longer exist. Like, they're no longer a group, based on what I've looked up. And they have a couple albums out, which I would like to check them out. But Ahmad, glad to own this album. Very good. This is out of print as well. But yeah, Ahmad, very good album right here. Then we got Rampage's debut album called Scout's Honor, The Way of Blood, released in 1997. Rampage, this is his, I guess it would be his official studio album. The reason why I say that is because he actually came out with an album called The Red October that was unreleased, that was supposed to come out back in 1994, 1995, but it was shelved. But it leaked out. It leaked back in it leaked a couple years ago. It leaked online. I have that copy. You can find it online in one of the file sharing websites or whatever. But it's really good. I wish he would put that out. But this album is an album that I already have. But I just lost the case, so it was like one of those things that I found. It was like, yo, let me pick this shit up. But the singles off the album are Talk of the Town and Wild for the Night. Wild for that beat is fucking crazy. Very good album. I really liked it. Very underrated if you ask me. If you guys liked Busta Rhymes' second album, to me, I always felt like this was a mixture of The Coming by Busta Rhymes and When Disaster Strikes. So if you like those first two albums by Busta Rhymes, then you would definitely enjoy this album. You got songs like Flip Mode, It's a Squad, Dope Posse Cut, Wild for the Night, Hall of Fame. Even the intro is fucking dope. But I eventually would have to do a review on this album. But yeah, this is Rampage, Scout's Honor, Way of Blood, released in 1997. This is out of print as well. Then glad to own this album right here is the soundtrack, Sunset Park, released in 1996. Dope movie. Glad to own this joint right here. Yeah, man, very dope soundtrack, man. Back when soundtracks were fucking dope. We had songs like with Tupac, High Till I Die. I fucking love that song. Mobb Deep, Back at You, which was a single. There's a video for that. Ghostface Killa, Mother's Child, which was a single as well, which was actually featured on Ghostface's Iron Man, which I did a review on. Check that out when you guys get a chance. Aaliyah, Are You Ready? That was a single as well. MC Light featuring Escape, Keep On, Keeping On, which was a single. Yeah, dope shit right here, dope shit. Onyx Thanks Change, that's my shit right there. There's a song that was, hold on, give me 1 second. Junior Mafia, We Don't Need It, that's my shit. That song was actually featured on Lil Kim's first album with Hardcore, which I do have. Glad to own that joint too. We'll have to do a review on that eventually. But yeah, Sunset Park, the soundtrack released in 1996. Dope soundtrack, dope movie, very underrated. Really hear people talk about this. Got the last two, which I'm glad to own, and it is Erick Sermon's debut album, No Pressure, released in 1993. This is another album I already own, but I don't have the case, so you guys already know I'm very anal, so had to pick it up. Erick Sermon, No Pressure, fucking love this album. This album obviously came out right after the breakup of EPMD. Just love how aggressive this album is. Like, if you guys like Business Never Personal, how rugged the album was, this is no different. This was a lot more harder, more aggressive, you know what I mean? Just very angry, you know what I mean? Yeah. The singles off this album was Hostile, Stay Real, Hitting Switches, Safe Sex, and that was it. Very dope album. Glad to own this joint right here. Last but not least, Special Ed's third album called Revelations, released in 1995. Yeah, glad to own this joint right here. The singles off the album was Lyrics, Never Go Back, and that was it. Very dope album. Very dope boom bap hip hop, dope production. Fucking love this shit right here. And that's it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed that review. My brother's been trying to call me, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. But stay tuned for more videos. Peace.